told me today, she said, you can fix the unfixable. I said, you want to know my secret? She said, what is it? I said, I think outside the box. I take a panoramic view of the whole picture. Plumbing, electrical, ACs, the nuts, the bolts, the locks, the doors, flooring, sheetrock. I think whatever it is that I have in my hand, it can be used in multiple places. It don't have to be used in one place. She said, that's a skill. She said, that's a skill. She says, I've never seen anything like it. And the reason I'm able to do it is because I had to survive. I had to do it. I had to do it to survive. I still do it. I still have to do it to survive. Fix the unfixable. Only thing I can't fix is a broken heart. God has to do that. God has to do that. He has to fix your broken heart. God has to fix your broken spirit, your broken soul, your broken emotions. Do you believe that He can? Do you believe it? Do you believe that God can turn the moth-eaten years into a new? Do you believe that God can restore you? Do you believe in restoration, recreation? You better. If you believe in your own self, no. But if you trust God and believe in God, one thing that I noticed, like with food and your health and all, let's say something happens and you have a problem, so you just pray about it, think about it, meditate on it, and you can actually picture yourself healthy, Just picture in your mind the image of whatever it is. Let's say you sprain your thumb or something. Picture it in your mind as being healthy. You don't know how you're going to get there, but you trust God that it's going to happen. And you know what happens? He'll usually send somebody your way to give you advice or a video or a doctor or some opportunity that you step into it. You just step into it. You just step into it. And the solution's right there. The solution's right here anyways. It's right in front of you. It's just have to have faith. It's hidden. The solution's back here, but you just have to have faith for it to appear, right? It will appear, but you have to have faith. The same Jesus that healed the blind man, the same Jesus that healed the cripple, the same Jesus that holds it all together, He can restore the moth-eaten years. He can do it. Do you believe it, though? God can fix anything. God can fix anything. I have I don't even want to call it a prophecy because I'm not claiming it, but I already know what's going to happen with Putin. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen with Putin. Here's what's going to happen with Putin. I jotted down some notes. Here's the fractal hologram, the history and the future. The Bible talks about Gog and Magog, right? When they attack Israel, God knocks them back. Sorry. Excuse me. I can't edit that out. Sorry. It's kind of like Will Smith smacking that dude. It was not expected. That thing was staged. He probably took a real hit, but it was staged. Gog and Magog kicked back. David and Goliath. So the So the president of Ukraine is Jewish. David and Goliath story being repeated. Gog and Magog is in the future, but God kicks them back. Anybody attacks Israel, God destroys them. Look at Hitler. God destroyed him. David and Goliath. Mordecai in the book of Esther. When they were trying to kill Mordecai, Esther went to the king and it was all fixed. Dr. Fauci, he's in hiding. He's on house protection. House protection. That's what I heard. That Dr. Fauci's hiding. He tried to kill everybody. Nebuchadnezzar ate grass for 7 years. Nebuchadnezzar ate grass for 7 years because he thought he was God. Russia fell before during the Reagan thing. The 666, they try to cut your head off, right? Legalism. Russia and China, North Korea, they're all legalists, right? And so they're trying to live in the Old Testament when we're actually in the New Testament. So they're living in 4,000 years ago. They're not even up to date at all. They're trying to bring in something that's already in the past. They will fail because God is a God of progression. God ain't going backwards. Law versus grace. They have no grace. We have grace encoded in our legal system. You can pay your redemption money and get out of jail. Get you a lawyer. They want to cut the head off of the body. They want to cut Jesus off. They want to be a hive mind, right? Red versus blue conversation. So red versus blue goes back to conversation, face-to-face conversation. Putin don't want to have a conversation. If you listen to, Zelensky, I guess is his name, Zelensky. If you listen to Zelensky, he wants to have a conversation. Putin don't. They don't want to have a conversation. This whole thing's about conversation, together turn. Anybody who don't want to have a conversation, they're isolating themselves. They're up to no good. They don't want to have a conversation because they know they'll be found out. Conversation. A conversation creates a flow. A conversation creates a birthing. But they don't want to have that. Isolation is a death spiral. Isolation is a death spiral. So, what did we learn? History tells us, Book of Revelation tells us, I don't know what he was thinking. Anytime any nation has ever attacked Israel, maybe they got a little bit of victory, but they always got knocked back down eventually. So, the man's Jewish. I know it's a Russian setup, but he's a Jewish leader. That's David and Goliath. You're actually watching David and Goliath right now. Seriously. You're actually watching it play out. David and Goliath play out right now. What's going to happen? What happened to Goliath? He got hit in the head. He got hit in the noggin. What about all them war stories in the Old Testament? One guy picked up an arrow and shot it, and it killed the king. He didn't even aim. It hit the king. He just shot it up in the air, and it killed the king. David and Goliath. That's what you're watching right now. So what's going to happen? You look at the past. You look at the future. Revelation, Daniel, the 10 toes. You know, the Roman Empire, you're not going to be able to destroy it. It's just it's too much intertwined. You already know what's going to happen. The spiral downward is real. Why do you think they try to isolate the saints? They try to get you to yoke up with a fake believer. They want you to marry a fake believer. So it's in this woman, saved man, it's in this woman, and she's not real. She's fake. She's just plastic. She just knows what to say. She was raised in church, but she never got born again. She knows the right words, but she never got saved. What's that about? It's an agent. It's an agent to isolate you, to shut you down, shut your mouth, take you out of your calling. What has been shall be. What shall be has been. We already know what's going to happen to Russia in the future, so we know what's going to happen today. We know what happened to Russia in the past, so we know what's going to happen today. Russia was just collapsed from within. God pushed them back. Gog and Magog. How can such a small nation last this long against Russia? How's that possible? How can such a small nation with hardly any military last against Russia? Think about it. It's kind of like that war against Israel. Wow, it was like a 7-day war or something. Israel destroyed them in 7 days. Don't think it ain't happening. Don't think that David and Goliath is not repeating. It's repeating not just in Ukraine, it's repeating in your life. It's repeating in your life. You know how many giants tried to shut you down and you're still standing? That's the story of David and Goliath. How'd you stand? How'd you make it? How'd you do it? By faith. When I went through a divorce, somebody says, how'd you make it through that? What are you talking about, man? By faith. They're shocked. They don't know what to think. They can't understand how you just keep on going like the Energizer Bunny. They don't understand it. So your affections are not below, they're above. No matter what they throw at you, you go to God and God turns it around. What the devil meant for evil, God turns for good, right? Just like this situation we're in, this simulation. Adam and Eve fell down into time. Time is not even real. And so the flesh mind is not even real. So Adam and Eve fell down in the flesh mind. But God turned it around for good to save some souls through the ages, through the cycles. What the devil meant for evil, a lot of people got saved, didn't they? A lot of people got saved over the eons. Neo, the one, Noah, N-O-E, eons, E-O-N, N-E-O, O-1, O-N-E, N-E-O, N-O-E, Noah. Actually, look it up in the Greek. N-O-E is Noah. Look it up. Do a Google search on N-O-E. Or just do a Google search on Noah, N-O-A-Y. It goes back to N-O-E. You think I'm kidding? So you do the anagram of Neo and you see the whole story. Neo was asleep. When he woke up, he became the one. Just like Noah delivered his people through. And the same story is playing in the eon of time. The eons of time, E-O-N. The same story of Noah is playing in the Neos who wake up and become the one, the chosen, the elect saints, the born again elect saints. But you got to wake up. You got to wake up that this is a simulation. The David Goliath story is repeating all over. The Mordecai stories being repeated in the book of Esther over and over and over and over. Look at that. It's happening all the time. There's about 10 of them over there persecuting me. And I just keep standing. How's that possible? They hate me. I've never done anything to them. I've only helped them. I've given them free stuff, because I won't run with them to the same excess of riot. They hate me. That's what the Bible says. Even though I've gave them free stuff, I've helped them. Their grandparents who died, I was friends with them. They were saved people. I helped them, but they hate me because I won't run with them and accept their insanity. Why? Because the Bible tells you already. They hate you, but they hate Christ in you. They hate the truth. They hate reality. They love their dream world. They love the dreamland. They're actually living in a dream. Seriously. When you talk to somebody who has no truth, they're actually living in a dream. They're in a world of their own. They're living in the MK Ultra fake reality. They're legends in their own minds, which is not even real. Doctrines of demons, doctrines of devils. They have no truth. And they'll cry, love, 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 love. But if you have no truth, you don't know what love is. Their idea of love is if they give, they got to get. And they usually want to get more than they give. I'm sorry to be so straight about this whole thing, but it is what it is. It is what it is. The truth will set you free if you want to be free. But if you want to stay in delusions and ignorance and fake reality and lies and gaslighting and narcissism, and eventually this narcissist turns a psychopath. I think a narcissist probably already is one. It's close. They might not be yeah, I think they are. A true narcissist psychopath. Everybody starts out narcissistic, and they hit a point where they have to make a choice. Go down to a psychopath or run to Jesus. The devil's a psychopath. Putin's a psychopath. Putin's living in the past. He's a psychopath. The destiny of Putin and Xi, XI, I guess is his name, Xi and Putin, their destinies are the same. Destruction. We tried to pull them out of their days of old. We tried to pull them out of the Old Testament back into grace, but they don't want to move to. They don't want to move to a democracy or republic they don't want to move to that. Even though they see how America's freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to do whatever, they see how it caused the prosperity, and they were hanging on to our shirt tails. And now when we start to cut the line, I mean, Russia's stock market went down, China's stock market, everything they're doing is going down now. Because it's all about Christ. But they want it to be about their ideology. And notice how Israel's in the middle of the whole thing and they're just standing. This is what I'm talking about. When the past tries to come back, just stand. When Russia tries to bring its junk back, when China tries to bring its junk back, stand. America needs to stand. Europe needs to stand. Israel needs to stand. Everybody needs to stand. And all of them will fall by the wayside eventually. All your enemies, if you start doing some fasting, you're going to outlive them. If you start eating some beef liver and some salmon and some eggs and cut back sugar, you're going to outlive them. Cut back your sugar. Walk in faith. So they can't. Some people around me said, how did you not eat sugar when it was right in front of you, those cookies and all? Willpower. But it's the power of God. I'm not addicted to anything. I have no addiction. None. Only addiction I have is giving out the truth. But I've already said it before. Seeking the truth. I guess that's the addiction. Finding the truth. Scratching and clawing and begging and digging and dividing and trying to find the truth. Searching, knocking, asking. Searching for the truth. And the whole time it was right in front of you. The whole story is right in front of you. Okay, let's see. So this is a type and shadow of Putin. So these people are under flesh. They're under law. I'm over here. I got the gospel right there. I'm trying to get them saved, move to grace. They're under law because the flesh is under law. I'm giving them out the good news. I'm standing. Put a boundary up. What does happen? What keeps happening over there? They keep fighting. One went to the hospital. They fight amongst themselves. They go away. They start to look run down and ragged. That car's tore up. The other car's tore up that's usually sitting there. I mean, they just keep hitting a roadblock. They keep hitting their head. So what's going to happen with Putin? He's just going to keep hitting the roadblock. He keeps hitting the roadblock. The universe is against him, and so he's fighting against the universe. The universal truth is freedom. If the Son shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. All these narcissistic leaders, they're fighting against their own self because they're fighting against the universe. They want everybody else to die and sacrifice for them. All the men that Putin sent into war are getting killed. And all the people are watching this. But Putin's got his mansion or his castle. And you don't think people are talking? I know they are. They do it in China. They might not be able to talk about 1983 or 89 or whenever the Tiananmen Square, but they online, but they talk about it amongst themselves. They know. They all know. And don't think the people of Russia don't. They know. Don't think they don't. They know. He's kicking against the prick. Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? You're kicking against the prick. It's hurting. Every time you kick, it hurts yourself. You keep hurting yourself. He had to drop him down, make him blind. You know what's going to happen. Revelation, Gog and Magog's turned back. Hitler was turned back. Mordecai, the Philistines turned back. All the nations turned back. The only thing that hindered Israel was an internal thing. So the purging in Ukraine, the evil that was going on in Ukraine has been purged. But just like Israel had to be cleansed, but then they fought back and they gained more ground. I wouldn't be surprised if they gained ground. Took over some more of Russia. Who knows? Long story short, you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen because it already happened, and it happened multiple times. You saw it the last 3 years with the COVID and all, and the fake race wars and all. You saw how the last 100 years was compacted into 3 years. So Russia's part of it. What's going to happen? It already happened. The last 100 years is being compacted into like 3 or 4 or 5 years. The Russia, the World War III threat, all that stuff. It's happening right now. Time is speeding up. The cycles are happening. When the Bible says time is speeding up, what does that mean? The cycles are repeating faster and faster and faster. You know it's coming to an end because the cycles, the devil has no new game. The devil's a time creature. time is not on your side. You're outside of time if you're saved. If you're outside of time, it can be on. You can use it because you can know what's going to happen before. Premonition means to pre-think. If a thought comes to your mind and then it happens, because you thought about it before it happened. And that's true with everything. They're going to have to mow their yard soon, right? Somebody's probably going to take a lawnmower, walk up to their yard, and knock on their door and say, "You want me to mow your yard for $20?" And they'll say, "Yeah." Because it already happened 1,000 times. The swing set over there is moving back and forth. The wind is blowing up. How do you know it's going to come back? When that swing over there is moving this way and this way, how do you know it's coming back? It's like a metronome. It's a cycle, back and forth, back and forth. How do you know the stock market is going to go back up? How do you know Russia's going to fall again? How do you know China's going to keep collapsing? Every time they keep kicking against the universe, and the universe kicks back every time. Look at that. See the fractal? That swing over there is moving back and forth, and this mask here is moving back and forth. It's a fractal hologram. When you take a hologram and you look at it on a piece of an image, and you tear a piece off, you see the whole image, right? And if you Google fractal zoom on YouTube, you can watch as you zoom in, it's the same image. Eventually, the same image comes back. So as we're zooming in on Russia, the same stuff's going to happen because they haven't changed their ideology, and their ideology is against the universe. So the same universe that kicked back before is going to kick back again. They followed they hung on our shirt tails, and they got rich because of us, and they thought it was them when it was really us. It's kind of like a dog that bites the hand that feeds it, you know. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of cycles. I'm going to just say cycles. Instead of saying a matter of time, I'll just say matter of cycles. It's just a matter of cycles, because time is a cycle. Times and a half a time. 3.5 years tribulation. There's a cycle for everything. That's why the women who have the birthing cycle, if they hadn't had a baby by the time they're 30, they're trying their best to get married. I mean, that's all they're thinking about. And if they hadn't had one since they know 40's around the corner, they're trying their best to find a man to have a baby with. It's built into them. They're trying to find that man so they can have that baby. It's built into them. It's an AI program. The men have their thing too. You think, well, I'm going to marry this person. My life's going to be great. Well, you marry another sinner. That sinner, 2 sinners in the same household is trouble. Then you birth another one. Let's say you birth two, then there's more trouble. It just keeps multiplying. The more sinners involved, the exponential the trouble. You understand? In God's reality, it's exponential. Cornucopia is exponential. Sin is exponential. This is why it's good to manage your ship, whether it's a house ship, body ship, anything. Once you start to see your health go down, you better start fasting, cut back sugar. You better catch it before it goes down. Once it hits that one point, it's hard to return. But God is a God of recreation. If you ever feel like you're going down, do a 24-hour fast to see how you feel. See what changes. Recreation. Did you know your liver regenerates itself? Did you know your pancreas regenerates itself? If you have a fatty liver, it's probably sugar or it's probably alcohol. So how do you get rid of a fatty liver? You go on a fast. You cut back sugar. You eat certain oils that don't. You eat a certain kind of oil, like coconut oil or MCT oil, to get rid of fatty liver. You cut back French fries. You don't eat the oil from McDonald's because it gives you fatty liver. You cut back the oil that's bad for you. Russia's already started going down. If Putin doesn't make a change soon, there's going to be a point of no return. And it's going to be exponential. It's already started. You know it is. In your gut, you know it is. He thought he could take over. He thought they would surrender, just like I'm right-handed. He thought they would rescind or surrender just like that, but they didn't. Just like I told you, the blue lights pointed to war, the blue street lights. I'm telling you that Putin's destiny is set. Do you understand? Do you understand? All you have to do is watch the documentary called The Corporation. The corporations want to. They're. It's just the flesh. It has to eat more and more and more and more. Facebook, Google, they have to have more and more and more and more and more. And eventually, there's no more, and they collapse. The leader of Amazon, he said that eventually Amazon won't be